Have you ever eaten a big meal and then, like, an hour later, you're already feeling hungry again? It's so frustrating, right? It makes you feel like you have zero willpower. But what if I told you the problem isn't you at all? What if it's one specific type of food you're probably eating every single day? Okay, let's just get this straight right from the very beginning. This constant feeling of hunger, it's not because you're overeating. It is definitely not a sign that you're lazy. And it absolutely does not mean you're weak. That powerful urge to eat again isn't some kind of character flaw. No, it's a biological signal that's just getting scrambled. So that brings us to the real question, doesn't it? If it's not a personal failing, then why are you hungry all the time? What is actually going on in there?
Well, here it is. This is the truth we're going to unpack. A very common, everyday type of food is literally training your body to feel hungry. It creates this vicious cycle that is almost impossible to break, unless you know what you're looking for.
So first, we've got to understand what's happening inside our bodies. It's a process I like to call the fake hunger cycle, and it perfectly explains why your brain can be screaming for food even when your stomach is actually full. You know, most of us think our stomach runs the show when it comes to hunger, but that's a total myth. The real command center, it's your blood sugar and your hormones. They are the true puppet masters, pulling the strings, sending those signals that make you raid the fridge. And here's exactly how that works. It's a 5-step chain reaction. First, you eat a certain kind of refined food. Immediately, your blood sugar spikes way up. Your body then panics a little and releases a flood of insulin to deal with all that sugar. But it overdoes it, which causes your blood sugar to crash hard. And that crash sends an absolute emergency alert to your brain that says, we're out of fuel, eat again now. And that feeling, right there, has a name: fake hunger. It's this bizarre state where your brain is completely convinced you're starving because of that blood sugar roller coaster, even if your body has plenty of energy stored away. It's basically a biological illusion. Okay, so what are these foods that are playing tricks on our brains? Let's get into it and actually name the everyday culprits that kickstart this whole cycle. Some of these won't be a huge shock, but I guarantee you a couple of them will be. All right, first up, the usual suspects. We're talking about things like white bread, pastries, those biscuits and namkeens, most breakfast cereals, and of course, sugary packaged snacks. These are all processed so quickly that they hit your system like a sugar bomb, setting off that spike and crash we just talked about. But this is where it gets really tricky. We fall into what I call the healthy trap. We think we're doing something good for ourselves with fruit juice or flavored yogurts or smoothies or even some protein bars, but they're often loaded with fast-acting sugars that do the exact same thing. They might look healthy, but to your body, they're just another trigger for that fake hunger alarm. And I really want you to let this one sink in. If you find yourself craving more food right after eating or drinking one of these things, just remember, this is not a discipline issue. It is a simple, predictable biological reaction. It's just how the body works. This brings us to another huge piece of the puzzle, and it's something we almost never think about: the simple act of chewing. This explains the hidden danger of all those liquid calories we just saw. So let's just compare. When you eat whole foods, the actual process of chewing slows everything down. It sends these powerful signals to your brain that say, hey, food is coming, get ready to feel full. But with liquid calories, you gulp them down, digestion happens way too fast, and you completely bypass that crucial I'm full signal. And what's the big deal if that signal gets skipped? Well, it means your hunger hormones can literally stay switched on. It's like a light switch that never gets turned off. So you've consumed the calories, but your body's I'm hungry memo is still circulating. It is a perfect recipe for overeating. All right, so now that we get the problem, let's talk about the solution. And the best part is, this isn't about some crazy restrictive diet or starving yourself. It's about a few simple rules to take back control. Here they are. 3 incredibly simple but powerful rules. Rule number 1, never eat carbs by themselves. Always, always pair them with some protein or fiber. That'll slow down the sugar rush. Rule 2, prioritize foods you actually have to chew. This helps send that I'm full signal we talked about. And finally, rule 3, just be more mindful of your liquid calories. Make them an occasional thing, not a daily habit. And here's what that looks like in the real world. Instead of just a plain roti, have it with dal. Instead of just an apple, have that apple with a handful of nuts. It means choosing the whole fruit instead of the juice, and a real, solid meal instead of a meal replacement shake. See? These are easy swaps.
And why do these rules work so well? Because they directly fight back against that fake hunger cycle. They slow down your digestion, they keep your blood sugar stable, and as a result, your hunger just naturally fades away. It goes back to being a normal, manageable signal.
So let's wrap up with this idea, because it's the most important one. If you're someone who feels hungry all the time, I want you to know your body isn't broken. It's not failing you, it's just confused by the signals our modern food is sending it.
The ultimate takeaway is this: you don't have to fight your hunger. You just have to change the signals. Fix the quality of the food you're eating, and your hunger will pretty much fix itself. The question isn't about willpower, it's about biology. So, what's the first signal you're going to change?